Hi, welcome to my video. Just a quick tutorial on the charts in Excel 2007. First thing you need to do is go to your ribbon. This is the ribbon up here, all these different menus and sub-menus. And go to the insert menu, and the sub-menu we want to go to is one marked charts. And almost certainly the first thing you'll be asked to do is to insert a column chart. I'm going to put one in here. I'm going to just use one column of data here, and I've only named them as weekday and week 1. So click column. From scratch you click insert column chart. Always go for the 2D chart. The 3D one looks terrible. Almost certainly going to be asked to do a couple of things in your exam. I've no doubt you're going to be asked to add data, and you're going to be asked to format your chart. Now, break your chart down into what you're looking at here. Each part is called an element. These are series titles and chart title, and each element can be dealt with separately in terms of formatting. Every part of it, like say, and it's important to note that when you click on a part of a chart, the part you're clicking on that relates to, for instance, we're horizontal bars. We're going to take these off, we don't need them. So if you watch the mouse, it has a crosshair, and as we get nearer to the line, the crosshair will become just a pointer. And when we're on the pointer, if you left click once, you'll see all the horizontal bars are now selected. We're just going to delete them. You'll be asked to give your chart a title. There's 3 ways to do it. First one is just highlight the box. You get a nice solid line around your title. Come up to this is called the f of x, or the formula bar. Come up to the formula bar, type your chart's name. We'll just call it chart. Oops. I have to learn to type, so I call it that. Hit enter, and you'll see that your chart title is now updated. Second way to do it is to double click in the chart. Now see the solid line here before I double click? Nice solid all the way around the box. If I double click, you see it goes to this broken line. When it's broken, you can just highlight whatever's in there. I'll call it that. Don't hit enter when you've typed there. Just click somewhere else. If you hit enter, this happens. You get a return, backspace to get rid of that. Just click somewhere else, and that's it there. Or thirdly, you can just highlight the chart, highlight the title, back up to the formula bar, type an equal sign, and then click on whatever cell holds the title name that you're happy to go with, and again hit enter. So we'll go with that just now, and likelihood is you'll not need this one here. So to delete an element of the chart, all these are elements, and to delete one of them you just highlight it and hit delete, and there we go. The columns, you'll probably be asked to give them a nice colour. You can select from the ones that are in here on the inbuilt menu. If just show you quickly, if you click anywhere else just now, then go back to the insert menu, you'll see that there's tabs missing. Once you click back on the chart, these tabs will reappear. You've got design, layout and format. Self-explanatory, but format is to format the numbers, the colours, the font, etc, etc. You can have coloured fonts or pretty much whatever you want. Layout is more to do with where you're going to put your chart titles, your axis titles, that one there that I just deleted, week 1, if we go back to legend, and if I say show legend on right, you'll see it puts it back there. That's what this here is, your legend. When you've only got one bit of data showing, don't really need it, but when we have two, you'll see it's quite useful. So just delete it just now. To format these on colour, you can either highlight them, you see they're all highlighted. You can then come along here, which is on the layout menu, come along to format selection and left click, and you'll get this dialog box. Or alternatively, just right click, and it says format data series, left click, and you'll get the same dialog box. I would colour these differently and vary colour by point, so it's fill, automatic, and vary colours by point. Click close. Now when you're only working with 1 week's worth of data, like here, that makes sense. You can have a different colour for each day of the week, that's fine. But we're going to add a second week's worth of data, so you're not really wanting to do that when you've got two weeks, because it just wouldn't make any sense what you were looking at. So anytime you want to undo something that you've done in Excel at all, whether it's a chart or whether it's a spreadsheet, if you hold Control and then tap Z, it will undo what you last did. With one set of data, by getting rid of the horizontal bars here, it's maybe not quite so clear how much the value in one day is compared with this here. So the way to get that back is to add a data label, and if you come up to here, this is data label. Again, we're still in the layout menu. Left click and come down to where it says outside end, and then left click. And once you've got these numbers here, it's the same numbers that's in your chart, you're probably going to be asked to format them. You may not be, but if you are, this is how you do it. Again, left click so that they're all highlighted. Only left click once, it'll highlight everything. If you left click again, it'll just highlight the one that you're clicking on. Highlight again by clicking somewhere else, and come back and single left click to highlight all of them. And again, you can come back up to format selection to get this dialog box, or my preferred one is always just right click, format data labels. In this section here, come to number, and we're going to format this as currency. And we don't have any decimals in our data, so there's no need to have 2 places after the decimal. Just highlight that 2 and then hit 0, and then click close. Click somewhere else, now take the highlight off of them, and that's that. Sometimes you'll get asked to format this left hand data series, and what that does is it works out the spaces for this axis. You see here it's gone up by 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. It's worked out itself based on the numbers you've got here. You might want to change that by having the maximum here at 1200. You know, your column chart here is sitting quite near to the top of the axis. You might be expecting treble that amount or double that amount, and it looks like you're having a good week when actually you're not having a good week. You might want to show that this isn't anywhere near what you expected, so you would change that by, again, right click and come down to format axis, left click, and this box here gives you some options, but you'll see we have a maximum here of 1200, and it's been selected by Excel. It's made a guess at what it thinks you want there. If we change that to 3000, and to anywhere else for a moment. If we click there and then there, now you'll see that that has had a big difference on how the chart appears. You're expecting something way up here and you've only got here, and all the rest of this is even lower, but this kind of gives you an idea that by altering what you're seeing on this axis, it will have a different look to your chart. So I'm going to go back to auto. We'll leave it fixed at that just now. You'll probably get asked to format that. Again, you might get asked to format down here as well. There's nothing really for you to format here. We're just moving through the elements one day at a time, so there's nothing really you can do. You could possibly change the formatting of the words, for instance. You might just want to have MON. You might just want 3 letters in there for the days of the week. Didn't work. We'll leave that just now. You can ignore that part. It's text here, so you wouldn't really be formatting that anyway. So, as I say, that's a likely part you would be formatting. By lining this here up to a cell, whatever we have in that cell is now going to be showing up in here. So if we want to change the title of the chart to something else, if we change it to that and hit enter, you'll see the chart updates. And the last thing you're going to do is be asked to add on a second series. I've almost no doubt in that. If you're not, then they're failing you. Anyway, to do that, you right click anywhere in the chart, anywhere at all. You can either come up to design again and then come over to where it says select data, or you can right click and select data that way. Either's the same, so it doesn't matter. I'll do it this way now. I've got it highlighted. When you want to select data, click on the add, and it's going to ask you for a series name, and your series name is going to be here. And if we delete the series values from here, your series values for the second axis is going to be there. And then click OK. And then click OK. Now, because we've only got one title up here, we might want to change that title now to say spending breakdown. And that's by just typing directly into that box here. Click somewhere else. That doesn't make any sense as it is. Highlight this lot of numbers here. We'll right click, go down to format data labels, and we're going to turn that into currency as well. And again, no second space after the decimal. And that doesn't look too bad, but we don't know what any of this is. So again, we'll click inside the chart, then we'll go up to layout, and then we'll go to legend, and we'll have the legend at the right. And that tells you what it is. It's Sharons pocket money, and then that's Sharons second week. And we might also want to have that broken down a little further on our table, because this table could be in a new chart, and I'm just going to show that in a second. I also like to, on occasion, show a data table, and you may do this, and if you do that, you can then delete this, or you can have your data table without the legend. I prefer it with the legend. Got a quite nice look about it. The colour codes relate to the columns. And the last thing, if you want to have this on a new page, just click on the design, and when you're on design, click move chart, and then left click. Straight away, one other thing you can do, we'll do it in another one, but you could have this on a new sheet. If you click new sheet, a new sheet is going to be created called chart 3, click OK, and there we have our new chart on its own sheet. You're not seeing the bottom of the page because of my video layout, but I now have sheet 1, 2 and 3 and a fourth sheet called chart. I have to say I prefer the chart on the same sheet as the data until I'm completely finished with it. So I'm just going to move it back there, and to do that, you click on sheet in or object in sheet 1, click OK, and it'll put the chart back, and it also deletes the extra chart page that it made for you. And get that back to size that you like. If your data looks a wee bit bunched, you can move it. A good time just to move it up and away from your data law. You don't have to have it quite so close. That was alright, that was, and you only really need to move the ones that are kind of encroaching into each other. Let's move it a wee bit high, that one, bring it down a bit, and that looks fine. When you want to print out a chart, you would just highlight it and go up to the orb, as it's called, go to print. I'll just go to print preview, and you'll see that that's on its own, and you can change where it sits in page setup, etc. Margins, we don't want margin. You can have it printed black and white or colour. Don't want to bother too much about margins, it's fine where it is. So there you go, that's how you would do it.